Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
All right.
Please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now I will call the regular school board meeting for Independent School District 935. 544 to order.
Wrong district.
Wrong district. Okay. But that's our special education cooperative. It was a test and everyone here passed it. Okay, so due to the current federal and state emergency declarations, the Minnesota directive limiting person-to-person contact due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting of the Fergus Falls District School Board is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.021, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. So we have a board member unable to attend this tonight, and so he is on Zoom, and it will slightly alter the way we participate. So moving forward, our first item of business is to establish a quorum, and I'll turn to you, clerk.
Thank you. Kirby Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen,
Here.
Melanie Cole,
Present.
Matthew Lemke,
Yes.
Missy Hermes present, Stephen Vigasa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very well, thank you. We have an agenda before us, and I would look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All right, that's Stephen, and a second.
Second.
I'll take Natalie for the second. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, clerk, will you please provide roll?
Natalie Knudsen,
Yes.
Melanie Cole,
Yes?
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. And next we have a resolution on acknowledgements, and we would offer congratulations to Scott Cumrow for being named a semifinalist for the Minnesota Teacher of the Year. And we'll also thank Mrs. Lill, Mr. Olson, and Mr. Steer for coordinating the 2021 Kids Heart Challenge. And along with the McKinley and Cleveland students, thank them for raising $22,492.67 for the American Heart Association. So I will offer a resolution on these items and move for its adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion on the acknowledgements? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take roll?
Melanie Cole,
Yes?
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Kirby Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Very well, thank you. Our next item of business is reports, and we'll begin our report segment tonight with Derek Abrams, the Activities Director, giving us a winter sports update.
Where would you like me to?
Actually, and I'm gonna go get you the podium.
Okay.
Yes, you can kind of stand there, and I should have done that earlier, my apologies.
Okay, ma'am. Help you.
Thank you.
Oh, maybe there's a different one, huh?
You know where it's hidden.
Mr. Abrams, if you want to begin.
I could. I just don't know where you want me to stand.
Like right there's good.
I'll stand right here. Okay. I did include the fall too because I didn't get a full fall in because fall really kind of ran into winter with some of the other sports. So, and activities that we had, as you can see in the report here, and this is available to anyone, and most of this is available online on the CLC website. But I looked at our numbers again, and this is my 5th year now, and so I'm comparing numbers all the way back to when I started, and then in future reports I'll just kind of keep it at a 5-year comparison, because I think that goes out far enough for all of us to compare some numbers. Again, I still see us in a growth Our fall, in fact, we had over 325 participants this last fall in our high school. Some of that's some middle school kids. I'd say it's about 49 or 48 middle school kids that were part of 7-12 programs. So I'm not including football or volleyball middle schoolers in these numbers. Just those that are part of our 7-12. But you can see again the numbers going up. If you take that number and you look at the actual number of kids walking the hallways of our high school, I would say about 50% of our kids that are enrolled here that participated in just a fall sport. I'm going to take the numbers out a little bit further and go into winter and spring as well, looking at different kids that maybe weren't in a fall to see exactly how many participate in athletics. And then I'm going to include the arts, music, art clubs and things like that. I think we all have a goal in here. I think we all agree that the more they participate in extracurricular activities, whether again it be the clubs, music, arts, or athletics, is a benefit to our kids. And it's a benefit to our school when they do that. So we're going to start looking at those numbers, going back on those years and seeing how many we have. I do know we have a very high percentage. I know we, in that aspect, those are very positive numbers compared to the other schools that I look at when I ask for their numbers. So 325, again, it went up. Now, some of those were doubled up too, I will say that. We had a few soccer players that played football on the boys' side. We had 2 or 3 tennis players and then 2 or 3 girls soccer players that also played volleyball. So some of them actually played 2 sports in that winter season or that fall season, mostly because volleyball and football, if you remember, got pushed back to October and November. So they were able to get 2 seasons in. I mentioned again our all-conference honorable mention, our CLC Performers of the Week. Do note on one of those, Hannah Prody, congratulations to her. I think the first time that I've ever known someone in the same season got CLC Athlete of the Week in 2 different sports, since she was one of those tennis players that then went to volleyball. I listed all of those, as well as some other academic honors. That's a new one that I started adding on this. It may not be fully complete. This last fall was a little bit more difficult to track down every little academic honor that we got. We get quite a few. That's run by each coaches association. Minnesota Coach Association for each sport. They control all the academic awards. So going online, there were some that really did not have the most updated information. I talked to some coaches, and some of the coaches associations with everything going on just didn't have all that information. But once again, we did very well academically. Our girls tennis team won the gold award, which was a team GPA of 3.877. That includes every single person that's listed on their varsity. So to have that kind of GPA is pretty impressive. In fact, just the other day I got a call from the group that heads up the Coaches Association, and they asked if we could start recycling our plaques. Because they give us the plaque that we put all the little names on, and there's like 4 columns. We're up to having 3 of those now just from the past few years, and that's for team accomplishments, gold, silver, or bronze. And they don't want to send us anymore. So we have to start recycling our old ones. So it's been, academically, we've been very, very strong. Any questions on the fall activities report? Winter isn't quite complete yet, so we don't have much as far as the CLC awards go for sportsmanship, for all conference or anything like that. That will be coming up over the next few weeks, and I can certainly share that with you when I get it. I do have their Performers of the Week. March 1st was a great week for us. We actually had 4 people that were named Athlete of the Week in that same week from Fergus. And again, for those that don't know what this means, is we don't decide on that. This is the CLC. The head of the CLC looks through all of the nominees each week and picks 1 person from each sport, and then sends that out to us every Monday night. I get that information on who is CLC Athlete of the Week. So again, quite a few of those. Congratulations to Brad Strand, Josh Steer. They were both named. This is not conference yet. We haven't had that, but they were named the 8AA coach, or the AA Coach of the Year. So Brad and Josh both were named that. As far as all-state honors and other awards, Ellie Kolbeck was already named all-state for basketball. What that means is she was one of the top 10 players in Class AA. Of the 128 schools that are in Class AA, she was listed in the top 10. Ellie Anderson was our AAA award finalist that won Section 8 AA. And in fact, tonight at 8 o'clock is the AAA banquet. It's done over Zoom. So I'll be attending that at 8 o'clock, and we'll find out how she did compared to the other 8 regions for 8AA. And again, she was one of 16 that were nominated from our region. And this is the big school regions. This is the Moorheads, the Brainards, all the way down to St. Michael. And she was chosen as the top female candidate out of all those 16 schools. So we'll find out tonight how she does against the other 8. Ashley Froning and Aubrey Seedorf just got this information this afternoon. Were also named All-State Honorable Mention for gymnastics. What I know so far for the academic awards, girls hockey won the gold award. Again, team GPA of 3.822. Gymnastics, which I spelled wrong on there, so there's my academics. Gold award, team GPA of 3.903. And girls basketball, team GPA of 3.800. The other ones I did not have, they had not posted results yet. So it doesn't mean there are only 3, but I wanted to get those on there. And we also had Colson Pappen for Nordic ski, Ellie Anderson for girls hockey, and Ryan Honorud that were named scholar athletes in All-State academic.
Great. Any questions regarding those? Statistics.
Still have 3 teams going, so we're not quite done yet, hopefully. 3 girls hockey and girls basketball play tomorrow night, semifinals. Boys basketball on Wednesday night. State tournaments to follow, and it's been interesting. It's been an interesting year to say the least, but our community has been great, our parents, our athletes, our coaches, and adjusting to all this. I hear the horror stories from other schools, and that just didn't happen here. People understood. They were flexible. We changed the winter schedule 4 times before we got going, and now it's we are getting through it, almost all the way through it. And I should say real quick too, just how great of a job Amber Hovland did, becoming Ticketmaster and a streaming company and everything else, making sure that we got everything out there and tickets out there and everything else. Did just a unbelievable job, and it was fun. It was a good year, I think, positive all around, talking to parents and others. It ended up a very positive year considering we didn't know where we would be in December. So.
Very good. Thank you for the report. Any final questions for our activity director?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Normally next we call Scott Colbeck, the elementary principal at McKinley and Adams, but he's doing kindergarten registration tonight. And so we will now turn to Tindy Runn, our elementary principal at Cleveland. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Each year, when we set our clocks ahead 1 hour and spring ahead, we're reminded of 2 big events that happen in our school calendar. One of them being the nearing of the end of 3rd quarter, and the other one the beginning of MCA testing season. And so we've been putting forth efforts towards wrapping up 3rd quarter and planning to get progress reports done in time so we can send them home with students on Thursday, April 1st, before the 4-day weekend. And then also doing our diligence to prepare our test proctors for MCA testing and our labs and accommodations and test schedule for the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments. And at Cleveland, the MCAs will begin the 2nd week in April, and they span the entire month of April. So we will be conducting assessments April 7th through April 29th. Last spring, due to the circumstances with the pandemic and guidelines provided from Minnesota, Education Minnesota, and the distance learning model, we did not conduct MCA testing across the state of Minnesota. So that brings the fact that our 3rd and 4th graders this will be their first experience taking the MCA test this year. So teachers are working hard are working hard to prepare those students for that testing situation. There are some test item samplers that are available for use in the classroom and for students to use and practice at home. That just helps students become familiar with the format. Some different test features that are available to them while they are taking the tests. and just really an overall preparedness for the assessment so that they can sit down and conduct those assessments with more confidence. We have 2 computer labs at Cleveland, and this allows us to have all 3rd and 4th grade sections scheduled into an accommodating testing environment. We use both labs and staggered some of the testing times and work around their FIED and music schedules so that they have those kind of the activity sort of classes throughout their school days, throughout testing. Each section of students is scheduled into 2 75-minute testing sessions, 2 for reading, and then after we conduct all of the reading MCA's assessments, we shift to math. And so that each section will also have 2 75-minute sections for math, each being on consecutive days. And the MCA is an untimed assessment, so all students are provided the time they need to complete the assessment and not feel rushed, and complete that to the best of their ability. So we are really focused on all the details surrounding the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments at this time and getting prepared to do that. April is also the month in which the severe weather drill is scheduled for the state. And this year it happens to fall on Thursday, April 15th. That doesn't work out really well with MCA testing, so we will schedule that drill for Cleveland and the Prairie Science class sections next week sometime. It's not quite on the calendar yet, but we'll get that in. And occasionally, parents occasionally do reach out and say, what do you do? How do you conduct your safety drills, whether it's a fire drill or a severe weather drill, or the other code red or code yellow drills? And at the elementary level, we really put forth effort to make it as unalarming as possible. I'm going to say that. We use it as a practice drill so that Mr. Colbeck and I will get on the intercoms and just announce the type of drill we're going to be conducting, things that we should keep in mind, and be quiet listeners and cooperative with the safety drills. So we will be doing that with the severe weather drill, some additional fire drills, and code red and code yellow drills that we need to get in yet this school year. And then looking ahead to the next 9 weeks, there are many important and fun learning opportunities that fill at each and every spring at school. Superintendent Drake just wrote an article about the importance of attendance, and we really want to stress that with parents and students at this time. There's a lot of big learning that goes on, and when students aren't present at school, they're missing out on instruction, opportunities for learning, and that growth that they need so that they can do their best. At the elementary level, they rely on their parents to get them to school, whether it's getting them on the bus, dropping them off, or some walking to school. We work a lot and talk a lot with parents about the importance of education, the importance of their role in getting their child prepared for each and every day. So we really want to reinforce the message that we want kids at school as long as they are healthy and able to attend, to value that education. And with students, we talk with them about doing their best is their investment in themselves, and will help them be their most successful selves as well. So lots of things to look forward to. We're hoping we can possibly plan some reasonable field trips by following some safety protocols and making sure that our destinations are ready for our arrivals as well. So some exciting things on the horizon that we're working through. So with that, that's my report for this evening. Any questions?
Thank you, Principal Ron. Any questions? Oh, Miss.
Do you give the COGAT in the spring too, the cognitive achievement test? Is that given?
Not in the spring. We gave that in the fall of the year, in October.
Okay.
And so we can use those. We did that earlier this year to use those data points and that information. So it was earlier, so teachers could use that constructively. But we did. We administered the COGAT to 2nd and 4th grade students this year.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for the
Thank
report.
you.
We call next on Dean Monkey, the secondary principal, and local short timer.
Yeah. I'm reminded of that several times. First of all, good evening. Thanks for having us here. It's kind of hard to imagine that our quarter ends on Thursday. Third quarter will be done on Thursday, and progress reports are going out the following week by Thursday, April 1st, so we can have them over the Easter break there. Completion of the high school schedule is ongoing. We've tried to look off now into next year already and determining what our staffing patterns will be based upon the registration information that we've collected from all of our next year high school students. We also try to put that middle school schedule together at the same time because we share so many staff across the building. So that is going on right now. Testing season for us has already begun. We started MCA testing today. With our high school students starting first, and a lot of that testing is being done right here in the media center so that we can bring some of those students in. We are offering that testing opportunities to our distance students as well, inviting them in if they feel comfortable doing that, putting them into smaller groups and allowing them to come into a big space like here to be able to take those tests if they would like. Upcoming events. I know that our music department is diligently planning for spring concerts. They're not 100% sure what those will look like yet at this point. They may have to do them in installments or stages on a given evening. I saw one plan that had basically 3 different concerts on the hour coming in so we could get different groups, larger audience sizes that way. That would allow us to bring more parents in to be able to see some of those events. So more information will come out both from the department, every way that we can get it out in order to invite folks in for those spring concerts. But we are a little bit tied to the audience sizes in those respects. So we're hoping that here as of April 1st and ongoing, we might hear some good news in that area as far as allowing a few more people in our auditorium or gym area to be able to enjoy those. Same goes true for plans for prom and graduation. I know that Mr. Tilke is working diligently with his student council members and planning out for prom. Luckily ours was a little bit later this year in the first weekend in May, so we still have a little bit of time to adjust for that. We're very appreciative, of course, of our community post-prom committee that's working closely with that group as well. There's going to be a prom. It's just going to be a matter of what can we include in all of those in that evening just to make it safe for everybody that would be there. So once again, more details to come on that. Same with graduation. We're of course very curious about the new rules that come out in relationship to spectator size and events, and whether that be indoor or outdoor, and what we'll be allowed to do. So we continue to watch that. We've already had a meeting with our music department. I just praise them every year for their willingness to be involved in that graduation ceremony, and they're all on board. It's just a matter of how big your groups or which groups would end up participating on that one. So we'll keep doing that. You've heard me say before that I believe that we have the best administrative team here that you could ever put together. I guess some of that was proven true this last week when Mr. Brad Strand was offered a superintendent position over at Breckenridge. Has accepted that pending some contract negotiations there for that position, but special congratulations need to go out to Mr. Strand. He's been a delight to work with over the years in all the different roles that he's helped us out here, and we're just very appreciative of his service to the school district. Along those same lines, we've got Mr. Tilke tomorrow morning with a high school faculty meeting that he's going to have, and our Mr. Steinbrenner is meeting with our 5th and 6th grade teachers yet, I think the beginning of next week. And Ryan Johnson keeps the coordination of our IQs going, and is also helping to monitor our ALC over there at the Roosevelt Building as well. So just a great group, and we're very appreciative for all those individuals. We did give a tour to a prospective family this last week that is moving from out of state here, and I guess I would just like to kind of go public with that invitation. If there's families out there that are interested in making a change for their son or daughter in relationship to next year, we're always open to providing tours and answering questions here as the spring kind of gets going. We have a lot of our parochial students these days that'll come to us early, whether that be in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. It doesn't really matter these days. So I want to offer an invitation out there to the public. If anybody is considering, coming to the Fergus Falls Public Schools, Kennedy Secondary School here for next year, give us a call. We'll find a way to answer your questions, get you in the building for a tour, and give you all the information you need to make an informed decision. Maybe if you haven't even got to that point of which way you're leaning, at least come and talk to us and we can answer your questions for you. So we look forward to that. And we look forward to gathering all that information now. As of April 1st, we'll be sending letters home, asking for parents to indicate interest in Prairie Science class program and what they might be registering for, by way of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as well. So all of that's going to heat up here in the next few days. So that's what I had for you tonight. If there's any questions.
I don't see any inquiring faces.
Thank you.
Next, report from our superintendent, Jeff Drake.
Good evening. First, big thank you to all the people that were involved in the work on Lincoln School. I'm very proud to say that today marks the first day that we have students occupying the facility. It's a beautiful building. We're very excited and proud of it. And I know there's a lot of enthusiasm for the staff to have moved in there and to have students come through those doors today. Children's Corner will join us with their students on April 5th, so they're very excited as well. We've had ongoing discussions with them to ensure a smooth transition over there, and things have been hectic, but happy that this event has finally come about. It's been a journey. I also want to express congratulations to Mr. Cumro on his semifinalist status for Minnesota Teacher of the Year. He's a very creative gentleman, and certainly his national exposure to his program and our school district with the video that he made last spring was a wonderful testament to his ingenuity. I also want to extend thanks to Mr. Strand on his selection to become the Breckenridge superintendent. Very well deserving and a pleasure to work with. Good luck to our hockey teams, hockey team, boys hockey, and then boys and girls basketball in the playoffs this week. And congratulations to the girls hockey team on a very successful season. And then we also had some winter athletes that had qualified for state tournaments, so congratulations to those folks as well. On the COVID-19 side, we have seen a recent uptick over the last couple of weeks in our numbers. I had a conversation and some further communication with Otter Tail Public Health this morning. Basically, in the two larger area school districts, Detroit Lakes and Fergus Falls, we're seeing numbers, for us up in the 38s or 40s. What has changed somewhat with those numbers, though, is that they are seeing a higher percentage of the positive cases in the 18 and under category. And that was not the case historically throughout our experience here leading to this point. There is some speculation that outside of school, I will say, although especially with our older kids, we've needed to do more reminders. There's a certain amount of COVID fatigue going on with the personal protective equipment, which requires us to do more mask reminders, etc. But between maybe some more lax attention to the personal protective equipment and social distancing, and the increase in social functions that range from, you know, church youth activities to sporting events to family gatherings, we're just starting to see a little bit of a spike come up in our cases. This would be after several weeks of steady declines, reminiscent of what we would have seen in early October. Given the active vaccination that has been taking place, I don't think anyone predicts that we will see a resurgency with the numbers that we were looking at towards the end of October, but particularly November, December. But certainly something that we don't want to gain a strong hold here and continue to see those numbers increase. Talking one more piece about Lincoln, we received our certificate of occupancy at about 10 o'clock on Friday. So it was a sprint to the finish, and kind of some anxious and exciting moments leading up to that. So switching gears to strategic planning, the facilities committee has had 3 meetings now. Our last meeting involved a tour of the new Lincoln facility. We reviewed some survey responses from the McKinley staff, so that was all good. I want to mention that March is Music in the Schools Month, and our appreciation to the work of a very outstanding music department. We mentioned Mr. Cumrow earlier. Mr. Froyland, his men's choir was selected to perform virtually for the Minnesota Music Educators Conference, which is a very prestigious honor earlier in the year. And then I will end my report just to let the public know that we have we're in the exploratory stages about whether to remain in the 3-2 instructional model or potentially move to a 4-1 model. That includes feedback from our parents out there in the community, discussions with both the administrative teaching staff and of course at the board level as well. The parents completed a survey. One of the interesting things from the survey is that about 60% of the parents indicated, compared to a 3-2 model, meaning the kids attend in person 3 days a week and would be distance learning 2 days a week, compared to a switch to a 4-1 model where students would be in school 4 days a week and distance learning 1 day per week. About 60% of them said that would be a better educational learning model for their students. However, when asked how many of them were currently doing a 3-2 model distance learning, that was about 13%. If we were to switch to a 4-1 model, the number of parents that would select distance learning for their children rose to a little over 20%. And so this makes the discussions more challenging on our end. I think full acknowledgement that more in-person learning is better for students, but concerns that if we were to switch to that model, we would actually see fewer students in the building on an in-person learning model than we have already. So with that, I will open it up to any questions or comments.
Does anyone have anything? Seeing nothing, thank you for the
Thank
report,
you.
Superintendent Drake. And I'll carry on with our agenda, which now focuses on the general consent items. And for our consideration, under this segment are the minutes from our March 8th board meeting and then some personnel matters, which I will have our HR director, Elaine Junkie, detail for us.
All right, personnel. Good evening, everyone. Under support staff hire, we will be hiring James Sorsett, a seasonal ground worker. James worked with us last summer also. He will begin work with us on May 17th. Support staff retirement, we have Pam Ness, special ed paraprofessional, at the end of the school year, along with 2 certified staff retirements, Sally Kerbaugh, elementary teacher over at Cleveland, and Jeanette Fletchell, currently a Title I teacher at Adams, and both of those would be retiring at the end of the school year. And we will also have resolutions on all 3 of these under the new business area. We also, under personnel, have the request from Jesse Thorstead, technology specialist, for an extension of a 5-year leave of absence from teaching, effective July 1st, 2021. Jesse is currently just ending his existing 5-year request that was board approved. We also have notice of desire to negotiate with the Fergus Falls Education Association for the 2021-2023 school years, and a memorandum of agreement between the Fergus Falls Principal Association and the Fergus Falls District 544 regarding a plan for reconfiguration of administration, and this would be effective July 1st. So I recommend all these for board approval.
Okay. So we have a variety of things on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Steve. Is there a second?
Second it.
Second from Matt. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion items, clerk, will you please take roll?
Matthew Lemke,
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Kirby Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knutson,
Yes.
Melanie Cole.
Yes?
The motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to new business, and as we've been notified and involved, there is a proposal for the 2021-2022 school calendar. I am looking for a motion from a board member to approve that calendar.
So moved.
Thank you, Missy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Oh, well, I'll take Kirby since he shouted from home. All right, thank you. And any discussion on the calendar? We've kind of hashed it through and coordinated with the teachers to prepare it, and so it's been reviewed a little bit. I don't hear any commentary, so I'll turn it to you, Ms. Hermes, for.
Okay. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Kirby Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knutson,
Yes.
Melanie Cole,
Yes?
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. The motion carries.
Very well. And because I have several resolutions, I'm going to give them their proper appreciation and enunciation and remove my mask. So first we have a resolution on the retirement of Mary, but we know her as Jeanette Fletchell. Whereas Jeanette Fletchell began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in August 1999. And whereas Jeanette has been a valued employee with the Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 22 years, and whereas Jeanette has done an excellent job as an elementary and Title I teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by Fergus Falls School Board to thank Jeanette Fletchell for her 22 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Will someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I will do that.
All right, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Any comments? Clerk, to you for roll, please.
Kirby Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knutson,
Yes.
Melanie Cole,
Yes.
Matthew Lemke,
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We have a resolution on the retirement of Sally Kerbaugh. Whereas Sally Kerbaugh began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in August 2018, and whereas Sally has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 3 years, and whereas Sally has done an excellent job as an elementary teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by Fergus Falls School Board to thank Sally Kerbaugh for her 3 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. And will someone offer that resolution?
I'll offer that resolution, move for its adoption.
Thank you. And is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Any discussion? And over to you, clerk, please.
Natalie Knutson.
Yes.
Melanie Cole.
Yes?
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right. And we have a resolution on the retirement of Pamela Ness. Whereas Pamela Ness began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in August 2018. And whereas Pam's been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 3 years. And whereas Pam has done an excellent job as a special education paraprofessional for the district. And now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Pamela Ness for her 3 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Will someone make a motion?
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, clerk, please take roll.
Melanie Cole.
Yes?
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Natalie Knutson.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. That does conclude our agenda for this evening. The board will continue with a work session to discuss the use of the otter logo, copier quotes, insurance agent processes, and invoicing and purchase orders. So with that, we'll invite you back for our next meeting, Monday, April 12th, at 5:15. Location to be determined potentially. Will someone make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, and a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on adjourning? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. All right, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you. And we'll increase in her contract as well. We have one certified staff requirement, and that's Carrie Thompson, District Curriculum Coordinator, effective on April 1st of this year. That includes the general consent items. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion on these items? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, hearing nothing, that is approved. I have a resolution, and I'll remove my mask for clarity of communication here. The title is 2020-2021 American Indian Parent Advisory Committee Resolution. Whereas the Fergus Falls School District number 544 has an American Indian Parent Advisory Committee composed of parents, guardians of American Indian children who are eligible for Indian education programs, American Indian language and culture teachers and paraprofessionals, American Indian teachers, American Indian counselors, American Indian adults enrolled in educational programming, and American Indian representatives from the community. Whereas the school district affords the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee the necessary information and the opportunity to effectively express their views concerning all aspects of American Indian education and the educational needs of the American Indian children enrolled in the schools and the programs. And whereas the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee is directly involved with and advises the school board and district on Indian education programming and planning, and whereas the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee develops and submits recommendations to the school board and district staff pertaining to the needs of American Indian students. Therefore, be it resolved that the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee concurs that the school board and district are compliant with Minnesota statutes sections 124D.78, and that the school board and district are meeting the needs of American Indian students. Will someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
Thank you, Missy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, there's a second, and then any discussion on it? In summary, it's an outreach, that segment of our community that's, that qualifies, as guardians or, parents for Indian students to make sure that we are, satisfying what they believe is, important for their children's education. So special effort to try to attend to that. And Missy's had some involvement. Anything further to say, Missy?
No.
All right. So, any other commentary? Otherwise, please, take roll. Clerk.
Melanie Cole,
Yes.
Matthew Lemke,
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Herbie Anderson,
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. And that last resolution for the evening, is on the retirement of Carrie Thompson, whereas Carrie Thompson began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in July 1986. And whereas Carrie has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 31 years. And whereas Carrie has done an excellent job as a FACS teacher and curriculum coordinator for the district, now therefore be it resolved by Fergus Falls School Board to thank Carrie Thompson for her 31 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Will someone offer that resolution?
I'll offer that resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
And any discussion?
I think, well, it's a well-deserved thank you. Personally, I graduated from high school with Carrie right here in Fergus Falls. And I was her next door neighbor with Steve, her husband Steve, for 6-7 years. So, know her personally and professionally, and it's well-deserved.
Very good. Thank you. Hearing no further commentary, once again, clerk, will you take roll?
Certainly. Stephen Vigasa,
Yes.
Herbie Anderson.
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen.
Yes.
Melanie Cole,
Yes.
Matthew Lemke,
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. And that concludes our regular agenda. We'll stay for a work session on buildings and grounds and personnel discussions. And we will have our next regular school board meeting on Monday, March 8th, here, either here or in the outer community room. We'll see how we're doing. All righty. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, Stephen motions and second by
Second.
Herbie. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.